Humane this week released the name of their new device, called the AI Pen. In my last video, we talked a bit about the company and their new projector-like device. This was a bit strange because they still haven't shown the device, and they either believe that this slow drip of more details about the device is going to get people excited, or they just don't have a functioning product to actually show yet. Either way, it's continued to be a bit underwhelming. What is interesting though is Humane's attempt to jump on the AI hype by including the word AI in the name. Wouldn't Humane Pen just sound better? Anyways, in a brief press release announcing the name of the device, they were able to squeeze in the words AI over 20 times. And the word personal was also mentioned numerous times in the press release. If Humane's word choice is any indication, computing does need to be smarter and more personal. Humane might be onto something, that indeed the future is personal. What would a personal AI future actually look like? Well, let's take a look. Another headline last week was a company called Inflection AI raised an astounding $1.3 billion in new capital. Now, none of this was that surprising given that AI is an investment that currently can't be missed by VC firms. DeepMind, OpenAI, or Google Brain employees continue to create new companies where they get to work on commercializing their LLM research. And big tech has been strategically investing, whether through capital or compute resources, making this a really interesting time for any company that likes to throw the word AI into a lot of press releases. Now, I also mentioned Inflection AI just because of how different their chatbot actually is. In fact, they call it the personal assistant. Its name is Pi. You shouldn't just take my word on it, but click the link below and have a brief conversation with Pi. When you're using Pi, you'll probably start to tell that it feels a lot different than other chatbots. Using Pi, there's almost always a question back to you, making it feel more like a conversation. And although it can feel forced at times, it does do a really nice job of bringing this feeling of personality and almost fondness towards the interactions. This is where the difference seems to be between a conversational AI and a chatbot. Pi feels so different from other chatbots, it almost feels wrong to compare Pi to ChatGPT or Bard. While the latter both focus on giving you direct answers, Pi often probes you for more personal details about your tastes to help it make its recommendations. Because of this, Pi feels truly conversational, while the others are feeling a bit more robotic, devoid of any personality. Perhaps even intentionally. Because of the closer to life feel of Pi's tone, I'd wager that you, like me, unintentionally wrote your responses or questions in one mimicking that of Pi's toward you, more human-like. In my own experience, I found myself talking to Pi longer than ChatGPT or Bard and asking more questions. I'm left wondering if Pi is the AI bot that will make us reimagine what it is to interact with computers on a personal level. Other examples being the first attempts by a company like Replica with their conversational assistants, the Google employee who thought the AI bot was alive, and even the movie Her. It helps us see that humans, we do feel something special when confronted with things that mimic our own reality. Pi makes an introduction just instead of showing up as a blank box for you to start. The problem up until now is that everything was incredibly impersonal. Personal everything feels like the most likely outcome for the future of computing, so it's no doubt the reason why many companies like Humane are trying to show that they are indeed personal. I'll predict that in the future we'll be more than willing to pay for a more personalized experience. In the 2000s to 2010s, big data was all the buzzword rage. All companies needed more analysts, more data, and if you weren't collecting it as a company, you were being left behind. Data was the new oil. But oil as we think of it is refined, and somewhere along the way, we took a harder look at everything that we collected and realized we just had a lot of crude oil. Most companies still don't realize what they're looking at is worthless, but it trickles down in the meetings that their employees see and hear. Outcomes a team can't figure out how to measure, conversations trying to understand what the data even means, endless nuanced caveats about a particular piece of data, bad data, dashboards no one reads, can understand, or even derive insights from. And this data problem, while on its face might seem unrelated, but it drove much of what led to this feeling of an impersonal world. Whether it were fast fashion because of data moving faster, GDPR trying to restrict data collection that broke websites, our lives at work becoming worse because of data, all the metrics, targets, and tracking, or even coffee shops that started to feel like anywhere because of that data to optimize safe design. We're now left at what I think is a pivotal shift towards the personal, driven by companies that realize the desire, benefits, and of course, dollar signs for a unique and personal offering. And this is where I think the future is personal. And this is where I'll give kudos to Humane, at least for jumping on two trends of being AI and personal into their press release. Somewhere along the way, perhaps with the proliferation of the internet, we began to desire, expect, and require more personalized products. It didn't matter if it were our clothing, the ads we watched, or the lock screens on our phones, we wanted to feel something. Didn't matter that most of this was just an artificially manufactured feeling. Just having some semblance of customization was enough to help us feel empowered. Having our iPhone copy 6-digit numbers, Google Home devices that automatically added new pictures, it all felt like a little bit of personal magic, even if it was very simple to do. And so it goes that computers and that piece of glass in your pocket need to get even more personal. With the age of AI upon us, we'll expect and honestly demand that our devices and services get smarter, personal, and faster. AI will save us time, remember our conversations, it will grow in its capabilities tailored to our expectations. Eventually, it will anticipate, be proactive in its actions. Entertainment might even take an uncomfortable turn towards being truly tailored to what we want. And with the increase in utility, we too will finally see a reason to pay. While the age of the ads won't ever truly be over, I'd bet that an increasing number of highly educated, highly paid 10%ers will be more than willing to pay a subscription for these services. And for this reason, I think Humane is on to something, even if I don't truly believe in their product, the AI pen, at this point. The future will be personal. But I do wonder, how long until even that begins to feel unsatisfying to us? As always, thanks for watching. Are you curious to try out the Humane AI pen? What are your thoughts? Leave a comment, subscribe, and as always, thanks for watching.